5:30 on Connecticut's news station.
Ooh, the Norwalk flu is a nasty bug and it's taken Connecticut by storm, and it's no fun, is it?
No.
No, and you know what? I'm Bryce Daniels. Carter and I are going to tell you all about it straight ahead.
And
with the internet in so many homes, protecting your family and protecting major computer networks is the topic of a conference here in Connecticut. I'm Andrew Pergam. I'll take you there coming up.
plus,
Former Enron chief Kenneth Lay is subpoenaed by Congress as they push harder for answers on the Enron collapse.
also,
You don't want to wait for the IRS to mail you your tax refund? Wait till you hear about the interest rates on those refund loans. I'm Deborah Kent with details.
these stories and much more as Eyewitness News continues. Now, Eyewitness News at 5:30.
Good evening. I'm Denise DeCenzo alongside Dennis House.
We begin tonight with one of the nastiest flu bugs doctors say they have ever seen.
It's been dubbed the Norwalk flu, and it is now sweeping through the state.
Channel 3's Bryce Daniels is here now with the very latest. Bryce.
Well, it's the Norwalk flu, as it's come to be known. It's highly contagious, and it comes on fast and furious. Doctors identified it in Ohio back in 1969 and say it's a tough bug to beat.
Still have that cough and sickness.
4-year-old Carter Newbeezer still isn't up to speed after coming down with a little-known strain of the flu called the Norwalk flu. Carter says he couldn't keep anything down.
I'll have one little tiny sip of a drink of soda.
Carter's mom, Sheila, says it came out of nowhere.
It wasn't a fun day.
No. Hartford Hospital's Dr. Joseph Kappa says that's a trademark of the virus.
It can affect any age group, can come on like a storm. But the good news is that it usually lasts for just 2 or 3 days, in which it can really just work your way out of your system.
Dr. Kappa says the symptoms are obvious: nausea, abdominal cramps, gastric distress, vomiting, and a low-grade fever.
GA Internal Medicine's Joanna. How can I help you?
If you think the flu shot makes you untouchable, you're wrong. In fact, there's no guarantee you won't catch this critter. It passes through contact, and there's no cure but time.
Remember, we can't get rid of or suppress the virus completely. What we try to do is make the symptoms more comfortable.
Over-the-counter products such as acetaminophen and abdominal relief products can help do the trick. Also fluids, and lots of them, particularly diluted sports drinks containing electrolytes.
The best thing that the patients can do is really stay home, rest, avoid other people as much as possible.
Carter adds just one more piece of advice. Don't forget to thank your nurse when this bug finally flies away.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I love you too.
And I love him. He is so cute. Because it's passed through physical contact, you can increase your odds of staying healthy with frequent hand washing. As far as getting better, time is the only cure. And doctors say there's not much they can do to relieve your pain, but they do encourage those whose symptoms become worse. Go ahead and see your doctor. It sure isn't a fun flu.
Yeah,
But there's something comforting about knowing that everybody's getting it. It's going around. You're not suffering alone.
And it passes fast. So you get it and you get it over with.
That's good.
Channel
All
3's
right.
Bryce Daniels. Thank you.
Sure.
Now, to learn more about the so-called Norwalk flu, you can log on to our website at WFSB.com, click on Health Beat, and then look for Norwalk flu.
In Waterbury tonight, fellow Democrats are criticizing Mayor Michael Giordano for keeping several key aides of former Mayor Philip Giordano on the payroll. The Waterbury Republican American newspaper reports that several of Giordano's former aides have been retained on the city payroll. Giordano says he kept some of those aides because of their experience, saying party affiliation was not important for those jobs.
The death of a suspect inside the East Haven police lockup over the weekend has now been ruled a suicide. 43-year-old Shari of West Haven was arrested on shoplifting charges Saturday night. About 5 hours later, she was found dead inside her jail cell. State police continue to investigate her death and tell us there was a camera inside the cell, and the tape is now being used as evidence.
As helpful as the World Wide Web can be, it also presents its share of problems like hacking, identity theft, and exploiting children.
But now cyber criminals may have more to worry about. Channel 3's Andrew Pergam has the story from the Cybercrime Conference at Foxwoods.
Cybercrime has taken on much more prominence in the last few months, so this technology conference brings together both the public and the private sector with some of the latest gizmos.
If you and I are wearing something like this, I could be looking at what you're seeing, you could be looking at what I'm seeing. We can communicate information much more effectively that way.
Looks like something out of RoboCop, but police officers may soon be wearing mobile computers like this.
When a police officer enters a situation, there could be a camera mounted on the side that by simply looking at the suspect. On the little screen within my glasses, I get a complete background on the individual, if there are any warrants outstanding, if the person is likely to be carrying a weapon or not.
The screen's a centimeter wide. There's a mouse and global positioning software.
If I'm in a dangerous situation, a glove like this will have sensors built into it, and it actually monitors my heart rate.
In addition to using technology to fight crime, law enforcement's here learning how to handle the technology that criminals are using.
The problem that we're seeing on the street is that law enforcement officers will show up at a crime scene, there may be a computer there may be a digital camera, whatever. They're not thinking that these are potential items of evidence.
Part of the conference also deals with cyber terrorism, both using things like encryption to pass along messages and finding information that's out on the web to use against individuals.
With the hiding of images in what seems to be normal traffic or normal conversations, you can't just do a keyword search for terrorism or bomb.
From your home PC to computer networks at major corporations to government agencies, cybercrime has hit on many different levels and continues to be a booming industry. At Foxwoods Resort and Casinos, Andrew Pergam, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
And a footnote to Andrew's report, forensic science is also making big advancements thanks to the internet age. That is part of the keynote address tonight by our one and only Dr. Henry Lee.
The Olympic torch is in the homestretch run toward the start of the 2002 Winter Olympic Games in Salt Lake City. In a sunrise ceremony at Arches National Park this morning, the torch passed through a sandstone structure created by erosion. About 200 people attended the early morning ceremony. The torch is expected to make it to its final destination of Salt Lake City on Thursday. That music is lovely, isn't it? By then, the torch will have traveled 13,500 miles through 46 states, including Connecticut.
Now, from the Doppler 3000 Weather Center, Miles Muzio.
And a jolly good Monday evening, everyone. It is pretty nice. It's been pretty nice the past couple of days, but there is some very cold air which is beginning to stream on into the state. It'll happen later on tonight, but not much in the way of any precipitation, and we could really use that. We're in the middle of about an 8-month drought right now, as you know. Here's the forecast first for tonight. Look for partly cloudy skies from stem to stern, and there are some flurries out to the west of us. I think they'll generally stay just west of the Connecticut-New York border. Temperatures dropping into the 20s. And along the shoreline, partly cloudiness with temperatures in the 30s this evening. The winds picking up and temperature dropping into the mid-20s later on tonight. Then comes tomorrow. Well, it's looking pretty good, but there is a storm that'll be developing in the southeastern U.S. That'll get close, perhaps, later in the week. I'll tell you all about that in just a few minutes. Dennis?
All right, thank you, Miles. Some powerful U.S. senators are about to send former Enron CEO Kenneth Lay a subpoena and force him to testify about the collapse of the energy giant. Lay changed his mind about testifying voluntarily and did not show up on Capitol Hill today. Now, with Lay missing in action, senators traded their empty hearing room for a press conference to blast the former Enron CEO, who balked at testifying today after 1 month of assurances guaranteeing he would voluntarily show up.
Nothing that would excuse Mr. Lay's decision not to appear before Congress. He was simply looking for a door.
Lay's lawyer says his client declined to appear after some members of Congress suggested on those weekend talk shows that the ex-CEO could be guilty of criminal misconduct. The senators are expected to formally issue their subpoena tomorrow morning.
It was a Wall Street retreat today as investors bailed out of the market rather than sit through a worrisome day of trading. Alexis Christoforous has more on today's sagging stocks.
Investors came down with a severe case of Enronitis. Lack of confidence in corporate accounting in the wake of the Enron scandal, coupled with earnings worries, sent stocks into a tailspin. The Dow tumbled 220 points, led lower by General Electric. The Nasdaq sank 55, or more than 3%. Tyco took a licking as accounting worries keep on ticking. Tyco spent $8 billion in 3 years on more than 700 acquisitions that it never made public. Microsoft got hit after Chairman Bill Gates said he doesn't see much improvement for the economy or technology companies this year. And WorldCom was pressured by concerns about the financial condition of its chief executive and the phone industry in general. One bright spot, Hewlett-Packard said first quarter profit will beat the street thanks to a pickup in demand for PCs and printers, but it did little to save the overall market. Track all the after-the-bell action at cbs.marketwatch.com. I'm Alexis Christoforous for Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Here's much more ahead tonight on Eyewitness News, including these reports at 6 o'clock.
2002, and Hartford is averaging a murder a week. Now community leaders calling for state reinforcement once again in the streets. I'm Kim Fettig. The details coming up.
I'm Shari today at the Hartford Civic Center, where last-minute preparations are underway for tonight's big Elton John, Billy Joel concert. That story coming up.
And still ahead here at 5:30, it hasn't been easy fitting in, but now the world's tallest woman is writing all about it.
You're watching Eyewitness News at 5:30 with news for Watertown, Windsor Locks, Chester, and your town, too.
Dennis and I will be right back.
We will.
Are you having enough sex?
I'm lucky to have sex once or twice a month.
I pray that it's over with in 2 minutes.
When sexual appetites don't match. Dr. Phil, next Oprah.
Tomorrow at 4 on Channel 3. You're watching Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 5:30 with Denise DeCinzo, Dennis House, and Miles Muzio. This is Connecticut's news station.
With some of those holiday bills waiting to be paid, you may be looking for some quick money.
Every year, millions of taxpayers rush out and get a loan on their tax refund from a tax preparer. But you may not know you'll be paying a very high price for a short-term benefit.
Here with the details, we're on your side reporter, Deborah Kent.
Everybody's looking for that refund.
Yes.
Wants the money now. Of course, the biggest mistake taxpayers make is getting a big refund in the first place. You've just given the government an interest-free loan the past year by withholding too much money. But you shouldn't compound that error by rushing out and spending too much money to get that refund a few weeks earlier. And every year, 11 million Americans do just that. Believe it or not, tax season is hitting high gear. By now, employers have sent out earnings statements. The filing can begin. But with new ways to file comes a new warning.
Don't spend your money to borrow your money to have it just a week or two faster than you would have.
The way a consumer does that is through a refund anticipation loan. This is how it works. Tax returns are filed with a tax preparer. The consumer is given a loan equal to the anticipated refund. When the IRS actually issues the refund, the consumer hands over the money with interest. But how long would you wait for the refund otherwise? If you mail in your tax return, your refund can take 6 weeks. If you file electronically, 3 weeks. But if you e-file and have the refund direct deposited, 10 days. So if you choose not to wait for the IRS to return your refund, consumer groups think you need to look at the actual annual interest rates of these loans. It runs between 67 and 700%.
It's a convenience thing. Some people want or need their money, you know, sooner than the 8 to 21 days the IRS takes to process a refund.
But the Consumer Federation says there's more to it than that.
Once you file for your tax refund, the IRS may disallow some of it. They may turn you down on a couple of deductions, so that your refund is not as much as you expected.
Experts say before choosing the refund anticipation route, assess whether you really need the money on the spot. If not, file electronically, and the IRS will get you your money pretty quickly. The IRS also warns this is the time of year tax scams resurface. And so you know what to spot. Just come to our website, click on the blue 3 on your side banner to find this story with a link to the IRS warnings. So time to beware.
And time to welcome you back. It's nice to have you back.
It's so great.
Across the state are breathing a sigh of relief, and all the con artists are like, she's back.
She's back.
Well, thank you for all of your thoughts and letters and prayers. And I am back. I'm healthy, and I'm glad to be working.
We miss you. You look great.
You look great,
Yeah,
and you're
you do.
well. That's all that matters. Wonderful day. Good to have you back, Deborah.
The family's back. Tallest woman in the world is speaking out about her life, which was not always easy.
Yes, she's 7'7". Sandy Allen is in the Guinness Book of World Records as the tallest living woman in the world. She is now promoting her new book called Cast a Giant Shadow.
In it, Allen talks about the obstacles she had to overcome as a tall woman. Her message, we are all different in some way. And it really is tough for many tall people because cars come in a certain size and things like that.
Headroom, legroom. Yep, you're right about that.
Should be a good book.
Miles Muzio is a tall order to fill as a big storm approaches us. More on this hit-or-miss situation coming up after the break.
Plus, actress Meg Ryan goes to court today to plead for help with a serious threat.
But first, here is a look at those midday lottery numbers on this Monday. The midday 3, 585.
The midday 4 is 4995. We'll be right back.
Tonight on Eyewitness News at 6. It's supposed to keep your kids off drugs, so why aren't some Connecticut towns dropping DARE? The I-Team shows you why some say it's giving parents a false sense of security. Tonight on Eyewitness News at 6.
Xena's miscarriage.
Looking back, I knew something wasn't right.
Then, who is Kelly Ripa kissing? Plus, the Gilda Radner TV movie with cocaine on the set of SNL and the new Star Wars next ET.
Tonight at 7:30 on Channel 3. Now, your Doppler 3000 weather with Miles Muzio.
Good Monday evening, everyone. Well, another winter day, another above normal temperature winter day. It looks like we're going to continue this this evening, but tomorrow things are going to begin to cool off just a little bit for a little while. This has been a very strange winter, no doubt about it. Here's the forecast first for tonight. We're looking at temperatures to hold in the 30s this evening with partly cloudy skies, but the temperatures will drop. The winds will begin to pick up as we go into the overnight time frame. That's after midnight. We'll be down into the 20s, teens, in fact, by tomorrow morning. And along the shoreline, partly cloudy skies, temperatures in the 30s, and no precipitation. It looks like that'll miss us to the south and to the west. Right now, we've got temperatures in the 40s. Believe it or not, it's 40 degrees with 47% humidity and calm or very light winds, to be sure. Our high temperature today officially at Bradley International, 41, and the low this morning, 20. You can see normally we're at 34 degrees. Temperatures are in the 30s in most spots, in just about all spots. New Haven is 40 degrees. It's a little cooler off to the west, and you can see this area of precipitation, which is just now, it's coming along, making a little bit of a right turn and going down. It's going to miss us entirely around a low-pressure system down to our south. The temperatures are very cold out here in western New York. Williamsport, 28 degrees. We'll be getting much colder than that later on tonight. We've got the southern jet stream. It's this thing. You can see it very clearly here, and this is part of our problem for later on in the week. The southern jet stream is down here. A low-pressure system is going to develop. Temperature's really nice right now, but already we've got some winter storm watches and warnings out for parts of Dixie. And what we're going to see is this southern stream low-pressure system begin to move out. Now, we're up here in the northern stream, and the low-pressure system just missing us now is a northern stream system. It looks to me right now as though this is going to just miss us to the south, but it's going to be close enough that we're going to have to continue to watch this. It doesn't appear to be a major system, but we are going to continue to watch that for Thursday and Friday. Right now, we continue to see the low-pressure system just scoot to the south of us. It'll be gone completely by tomorrow. Cool and windy, sunny, though, and as we go into Wednesday, we're going to continue to watch this system down here as it just misses us to the south. Here's the forecast for tonight. Look for partly cloudy skies, breezy and colder, with temperatures dropping into the teens by tomorrow morning, 20s along the shoreline, and for tomorrow, sunny, but it'll be breezy and cold with a high temperature barely that's freezing, especially along the shoreline. Look for temperatures in the 30s all 5 of the next 5 days. And we're going to see that chance for snow late Thursday and going into Friday. But again, it's a real close one. Right now, we're leaning toward it's going to miss us.
Okay.
Entirely.
That's right now.
Yeah, it could change.
We know. All
it
right.
does change. Yeah.
Thanks, Miles.
People in the news tonight, actress Meg Ryan, she's trying to stop a possible stalker from getting anywhere near her.
The native of Bethany was in court today in Santa Monica, California, to find out what she can do about this man, John Michael Hughes, who's claiming to be her fiancé. Hughes is already accused of breaking into a home in Malibu he thought was Ryan's. After that incident, Ryan got a restraining order against him. Today, the judge extended that restraining order for 3 years.
Former Beatle Paul McCartney rocked the house at the Super Bowl last night and then shocked his fans by saying he'll tour the U.S. in the spring. It'll be McCartney's first concert in the U.S. in about 10 years. The 14-date Drive-In USA tour will take McCartney from California to New York City and will begin in April.
The combat thriller Black Hawk Down continues to gun down the competition at the box office this weekend. The military drama starring Josh Hartnett remained #1 for the 3rd straight weekend, taking in $11.5 million. The family comedy Snow Dogs, starring Cuba Gooding Jr., held on to 2nd place with $9.9 million. The Count of Monte Cristo, starring Guy Pearce, came in 3rd. A Walk to Remember was 4th. followed by A Beautiful Mind.
Well, coming on the news at 6 o'clock, business travelers have a new place to hang their hat while coming through Connecticut. But that story's ahead in our next half hour.
And as the Patriots return home to a hero's welcome, Channel 3's Dan Kain is still relishing in the Super Bowl upset. He'll have his take on things coming up.
Time coming for Patriot fans, and now they can savor their team's first ever Super Bowl win.
Today, the team arrived home at Logan Airport, then traveled in buses through city streets in Boston. Preparations are already underway for tomorrow's big parade through downtown Boston. Celebrations are tentatively scheduled to get underway at 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Last night, Channel 3's Dan Kain watched the team bring it home in New Orleans.
My mom went into labor with me at a Patriots party back in '79.
That kick, that last kick, man, that was the greatest. The greatest. I love New England. I'm from New York.
They needed it, they wanted it, they were hungry, they worked for it all season, and they deserve this win.
Never doubt my mind. Yeah, Pat. Yeah, Pat. This is the best thing to happen to Boston since Paul Revere. This is huge.
I've been waiting 42 years for this big one, and it's worth every bit of it.
Not everyone was happy, of course. There were Rams fans at the game, but everybody was cool.
Rams fan all the way. Greatest Super Bowl in history. I got to hand it to the New England Patriot fans. They showed up. Rams fans, get up off your seats and cheer.
Really disappointed?
Well, sure. I wanted to win. The Rams are a great team, but the Patriots played a great game. They deserve a lot of credit, and it was great for America.
When the going gets tough, the tough get going, and everything's coming up roses here in New Orleans. Dan Kain, happy man, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
We'll have more highlights coming up at 6 o'clock. That's it for Eyewitness News at 5:30. Thanks for watching.
Eyewitness News at 6 is coming up next, and here's a preview.
New at 6 on Connecticut's news station.
2002, and Hartford is averaging a murder a week. Now community leaders calling for state reinforcement once again in the streets. I'm Kim Fettig. The details coming up.
And
it taught your kids to just say no to drugs. Now many towns are dumping the DARE program. I'm Kara Sundlun in Waterford. Find out why and see if there's something better out there for your kids.
plus,
the war on terrorism and an increase in defense spending could give the state's economy a much-needed boost. I'm John Moroney. We'll have that story coming up.
also,
I'm Shari today at the Hartford Civic Center, where last-minute preparations are underway for tonight's big Elton John, Billy Joel concert. That story coming up.
these stories and much more as Eyewitness News continues.